Hey yo, what's up? You know what it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And of course, I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And like I told you, that double header heat, because we are about to get into WWE Backlash, which is SmackDown Live's first exclusive pay-per-view since the brand split the second time. So it would be brand split to the Revengeance. Yeah, we'll go with brand split to the Revisionist. Put a hashtag in front of that. They love that type of stuff. But yo, anyway, Backlash, man. This was an interesting pay-per-view for the reason it's an interesting pay-per-view. Because this is the pay-per-view that's really going to kick SmackDown Live stuff into the next gear, because we're crowning new champions, we're setting up new storylines, and we're putting the spotlight on people, and it's going to be interesting going through the results to really see, because the main point of this, as I was sitting thinking about, like, you know, getting, because I got my notes together and like reflecting on that stuff and trying to figure out where will SmackDown Live and the wrestlers and the characters that permeate this brand will go from this jumping off point. I have the results in front of me for the one reasons I always have the results in front of me, because again, for the millionth time, what is a kickoff show? Who watches it? I am not that person. I will not pretend I'm that person, but I have the results of that match in front of me, and let's talk about it quickly now. Baron Corbin beat Apollo Crews in what was described as a great match that went back and forth, but Baron Corbin hit Apollo Crews the end of days. I have no idea what this means, because it was just about a week ago, well, it had been longer than that, that Apollo Crews was fighting The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship and came up short. Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews both, they got a future. They got a future in this company. So they being on the kickoff show now don't really mean what they will be doing a year or two from now. Because again, new era, and we trying to build new stars and do all this old stuff. So it's not a throwaway match, but unless this is finna catapult Baron Corbin into something, and given what I now know about how this pay-per-view went, where did this catapult Baron Corbin into more kickoff matches with Apollo Crews? Who knows? We'll see. And then we get to the point, which is the pay-per-view that I paid to watch, $9.99 a month. I know I could find something better to do with $10. I just haven't found it yet. But the upside to all of this is Backlash started. Something, building thing. Blah, blah, blah. SmackDown Live, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, yes. And then people actually wrestled. That was a thing that happened. Just trust me, it was a thing. Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan came out, there were fingers and stuff, and then, you know, a wrestling match happened. You know, the point of these pay-per-views for wrestling matches to happen. Okay. It was the SmackDown Women's Championship Six-Pack Challenge. Becky Lynch won. That we're going to start from the end and work our way backwards through the match, because there are some things that need to be understood. Number one, as I have speakingly spoken about before, especially as recently as last week when we talked about KO, was they had the opportunity to put the belt on Nikki Bella, which would be a safe thing to do. Makes sense. You could say the same to the less degree for Natalya if that's what you wanted to do, but they put the title on Becky Lynch. That means that they feel that she is ready to lead and carry that division, and I agree that she been last kicking shit for years. So it's good to finally see her get some gold and to trust her in the record books for being the first ever SmackDown's Women's Champion. That's what's up. Working backwards through the match, there was one thing that really stuck out, and it's Carmella. Because they are really trying to get over Carmella's mean streak. They are really trying to push that really hard on us. Like, Carmella's a badass, but we kind of already knew that, and it's already cool, but that she just gonna be feuding. It's just like, I don't know what they gonna do with her and Nikki Bella, because they have been building this for a minute, and it came out at one of the decisive points in the match when Carmella pinned Nikki Bella, and then Nikki Bella smacked the taste out of her damn mouth. So they are trying to build that for some reason that me as the person watching doesn't get it. And I don't know if other people who watch feel the same way, because I've done nothing, read nothing, been to my usual spots where they talk about this stuff. But what they're going to do with that dynamic, it will be a thing to be seen. I also have to take back one thing that I said. I'm down with Naomi now. I'm down with that. I'm like, it's like, I was just so used to her being a heel, and just that seeing her come out and doing the remix and the glow shit, it just caught me off guard. Man, now that I've had enough SmackDown Live on my system to get used to that, Naomi kicking ass with that. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to her doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? Natalya showed up, Alexa Bliss showed up in the match. It was all good. It was a great match overall. I want to see how Becky carries this title and who she'll ultimately drop it to at some point. Because when I sit up here and look at the 6 women in this match, is you wonder, is Naomi going to get a run at the title? Because before they start bringing up more women from NXT, that's an interesting question. I don't know if they going to trust her with carrying the title. It's like, you know, Alexa Bliss and Carmella, they're going to win it at some point. Maybe Nikki Bella carries it. You know, maybe Natalya get her hands on it for a while, but Naomi is the question mark in that, because you really wonder, are they going to trust her enough to carry that title for a minute? So it should be interesting to see how the SmackDown women, how they evolve from this moment with Becky Lynch carrying the title, and who's going to be the person immediately chasing her given this match. And given that Carmella and Nikki are doing their thing, that it wouldn't surprise me that this all kind of collided No Mercy as a triple threat match. So we'll just have to wait and see. Our next match, which is a second challenge, because I have to, introduce the story for those who missed it, was previously on SmackDown Live, there was a tag team tournament to get to this point where we're talking about now, where we were crowned new tag team champions. In a weird twist that I didn't see coming, but then as soon as it started happening, I was like, okay, was American Alpha beat the Usos in a flash? Huh? Usos, they way over, you know what I'm saying? They ain't held the titles in a while, whatever, but they mad over though. All of a sudden, American Alpha beat them like that, and I'm sitting there looking at the TV like, yo, a heel turn's about to happen, and what happened? A heel turn happened on Chad Gable's knee. That's what happened. A heel turn happened on Chad Gable's knee. And it's like, when I really think about it, it's like, I would never have thought that they would pull the trigger on a heel turn for the Usos of all people, that you would have told me they would have pulled a heel turn on the Usos. But I am going to say this, and then I'm going to have to repeat this more than once. I love this new attitude from the Usos. I really didn't think they ever had it in them to be some heels, given some of their family history, because Roman Reigns don't know what to do at all when it comes to trying to be that, because he is somewhere floating in the middle. And they daddy, who had one of the best themes in Bad Man when he ran over Austin with that whatever. What did he run him over with? I can't even think of, because it was a truck. He ran over Austin with that truck, fucked up his knee, and he started coming on, I'm a bad man. And it was amazing, but that heel turn for Rikishi didn't last long. This, however, this is going to be dynamic. because in this second chance challenge, the Usos fought the Hype Bros and won. And it's like what I love that they going all in with being heels now. They wrestling style was completely different than it was the whole time that I've been watching them wrestle in the WWE, and it's like they wrestling like heels, like they straight went at Zack Ryder's knee. They done boy in. And I love and respect and appreciate that they going hard. They've been there since day one. He's like, you can't say they going hard in the paint, but it's a whole different kind of paint for the Usos, and I love what I see. Later in the night, we'll get to that. The Usos will be facing Heath Slater and Rhino to determine who will be the tag team champions, but we'll get to that in a minute. The Miz beat Dolph Ziggler with some help from Maurice after they had an amazing contest. Is that I get it. I'm like, I get it from a couple of dimensions where you get it. Where if Dolph Ziggler was going to win, he was going to beat The Miz clean. And if The Miz was going to win, he was going to win by some heelish tactic. So it wasn't going to be that you can't have The Miz beating Dolph Ziggler clean, and you're not going to turn Dolph for him to beat The Miz dirty. So that only leaves you with two possibilities, and we go with possibility A, where Maurice sprays some shit in Dolph Ziggler's eyes. The Miz hits the Skull Crusher finale, and that's that. It was an amazing contest before that. Is that The Miz could have, it's like that could have easily went for a couple of more minutes, and Miz could have beat him clean, and that would have been the end of that. But I do also understand it from this dynamic. Because Maurice had to help Miz win, you can now sell the fact that you got Dolph away from the title. Yeah, you got Dolph away from the world title. Because now he finna start fucking with Miz. Because The Miz didn't beat him clean. So now you have a legitimate story reason why these two finna start butting heads for the next couple of months until they find Miz a real challenger to take that title off his waist. See, I don't know if people in the back think this far, but sometimes I go with stuff like this and it feels like I'm thinking about this way too much. Way too much. But like I said, it was a great contest until that finish though. It was a great wrestling match until that finish. But when you think about it, and from every way you can, it was either Dolph was gonna beat him clean or The Miz was gonna beat him with a heel tactic, one or the other. You can't have it the reverse way. You can't have some weird median. It was either one or the other. But great match from both men. Where are we? Oh yeah. At some point during all of this, two things happened. Some kid from Nickelodeon was on there talking to The Miz, and I'm just sitting up here like, other than Alvin and the Chipmunks, who watch this Nickelodeon anymore, and Bray Wyatt put Randy Orton's leg in a door and repeatedly slammed it and fucked this shit up. So, because of this information, Bray Wyatt walks out there, catching flies in his mouth or whatever. Gets to the ring. I did an announcement that's made that Randy Orton can't compete because his leg is fucked up. The fans, of course, boo. Bray Wyatt, however, like, I determined I want to win this by a forfeit, so they get the 10 count. Then the microphone dude gets on there, but like, however, it's finna be a no-hold-barred match. And then the thing that's been happening on SmackDown for weeks is that every time somebody comes out, it's Kane ass, and I'm just sitting up here like, why is it Kane? Why? Why does this make sense? Why are you subjecting me to this? Not saying there's nothing wrong with Kane, but it's a no-hold-barred match. I'm thinking they finna debut somebody or something, or one of his wide homies about to turn on him or something. No, it's Kane. They had a decent match. They went hard. I'm like, especially that part where the German announce table got fucked up because Bray Wyatt and Randy did a senton on Kane, and like the thing imploded. There was no table. Dun, 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 dun. Nothing. There was no table. It was a great match. And then at some point, before it was all over, there was some chair shots. Almost Super Abigail, a couple of choke slams, that one move from that one character I play as in WCW versus the World. And then Randy Orton hobbles his ass out and hits him with an RKO. I want to say this while I have people's attention. The RKO is an amazing move to watch. Rest in peace, Chris Kanyon, the master of the Diamond Cutter. I said that. Rest in peace, Chris Kanyon, the master of the Diamond Cutter. I said it, and I'm happy that I did. So yeah, Randy Orton hobbles his ass out there, hits him with the Canyon Cutter. Yeah, I just said that too. And then Kane choke slam Bray Wyatt, and he won. Normally, I would question this, as I question my sanity about the soap opera that I watch. I would normally sit up here and I would honestly, legitimately question, why would you wheel Kane out there? Why is Bray Wyatt fighting him? Why did Randy Orton hobble his ass out there, hit him with an RKO, and why did Kane win? It hurts my head to think about it. Why all of these things would happen in the span of which they happened, but they happened. So what are you really going to do about that? I guess I don't know. Cause the thing is that all this does is it just continually highlights the problem that I've always had when it comes to Bray Wyatt about their complete and utter misuse of Bray Wyatt, the character. I'm like, Bray Wyatt shouldn't be fighting Kane in a no-holds-barred match and losing. I got nothing else. Bray Wyatt shouldn't be fighting Kane in a no-holds-barred match and then get Canyon cuttered and choke slammed and lose. Who better than Canyon? Triple the G.O.D. See? Answering an age-old question. And still questioning the finish to this match or the match existing period. As we talked about earlier, the Usos. They fucked up American Alpha. Well, actually Chad Gable and his knee. Did the same thing to Zack Ryder. And now we got Heath Slater and Rhino. With Heath Slater trying to win a contract, a double wide to take care of his 90 kids with his wife Beulah, and something about Rhino running for some office or something. I wasn't actually paying attention. And something about a shit joke about him eating crab cakes, which might have been artificial crab. I wasn't really paying attention to none of this. Heath Slater and Rhino beat the Usos. And here's where we get complicated in issues of trying to figure this out. Okay. Let's start with the Usos doing what they did to get American Alpha out of the tournament, who would have been in the match in the first place. I don't know if anybody writing this thought this all the way through. Because, again, going with our we're not doing the same old shit game is you wouldn't put the title on the Usos because that's doing what you think you would normally do in a normal situation given recent history. I don't know if American Alpha would have made it, is what do you leverage? Do you leverage this big monster push that American Alpha was getting so that they lose to Heath Slater and Rhino and all of that goes down the toilet so that Heath Slater can win a contract? Or do you put American Alpha fully over, give them the titles, but shit on Heath Slater to put him back where he started? That's a lot. That's a lot to digest and take in, and I'm still trying to make sense of it. Because again, like I said, it's that when the Usos beat the Hype Bros, I saw this finish coming from a mile away because it ain't no way after you done gave Heath Slater all this attention about his wife Beulah and his 900 million fucking kids and the double wide and all this shit, it was no way he was losing, especially after American Alpha got, especially after Chad Cable's knee got fucked up. There was no way that you could have pushed this story. The story making sense. There's no way you could have done that. So, what does this then leave you with? And that's the question that I have been pondering ever since the match finished. Seriously, it's the question I've been pondering ever since the match finished because, again, you have all of these possible things you could possibly do. So what do you do? Because again, we can go over it. American Alpha getting a monster push. But you gotta protect the monster push. I don't know if this Heath Slater thing came out of left field so hard that the fans were getting behind him that we can't not, and that's bad grammar for your ass, that we gotta give the belt to him because we can't send him back after he's done all this work. But we also can't put the title on the Usos either because that's that same old shit. The only other thing, given that if you still had a Usos fuck up Chad Gable's knee, get him out, is that you would get the Usos to do the same thing that Heath Slater or Rhino, given dependent, have the Usos win, still use the Usos and fucked up Heath Slater to get him over and give him a contract for shits and giggles. It's all I could come up with. It is all I could come up with a way that makes sense where all parties are satisfied in a way that makes sense to me in my head. But again, you can do none of this because the point of you got monster push versus we think we want to give Heath Slater a contract in this kayfabe situation. What do you do? But Heath Slater and Rhino won. So, what does this mean for anybody? Because we know because I'm not really sure if Chad Gable is legitimately injured, because that could be kayfabe for all we know. So, you know, whenever American Alpha get back, they gonna drop the titles because you have served the purpose of the tag team tournament of giving Heath Slater a contract, but you could have done that outside the context at any point you wanted, and SmackDown Live played with it 4 or 5 times before we got to this point anyhow. So I don't know. I think the Usos might get it. I think the way that you play this is that you use the Usos to get the titles off Heath Slater and Rhino. And then American Alpha beat the heel Usos. That's the only way you can solve this in some kind of fashion because the point's been made. There's no reason for Heath Slater and Rhino to no longer be the tag team champions. So get the Usos to get the belts off of them. And then when American Alpha come back, put American Alpha over. And this will more likely than not, given common sense, will happen at No Mercy. So we'll see. Our main event of the evening. AJ Styles. He fucking did it. AJ Styles, he did it. But he did it. And that's the problem. AJ Styles did it. But he did it. Come on, let's try to figure this out real quick before we get up out of here. This was another amazing contest of the evening. AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose went back and forth this whole match. As soon as I saw the fucking ref bump, I was like, no, not like this. I'm like, cause see, it ain't even not like this because of the match. It was because why does AJ Styles need to win the match not clean over Dean Ambrose after he beat John Cena clean at SummerSlam? That's backwards booking. Backwards as fuck. Because, again, why would AJ Styles need a heel tactic to beat Dean Ambrose when he beat John Cena clean? See, that's the problem. We have clashing stories. Because unless you really trying to go all the way in with this face that runs the place business, and you could have still done that with a clean win over Dean Ambrose is that this only leads to one thing. One thing. AJ Styles gonna have the belt and Cena gonna stop doing dark matches. And then he is going to be a 16-time world champion. That's where this ends. And I'm not even concerned about numbers and records, but this is where this is going. Cena is going to have the World Heavyweight Championship. It's not a matter if or when. But again, I am trying to figure out why didn't AJ just beat him clean in the middle of the ring? That's like, again, like everything was good, and then the ref bump happened. Everything was hunky dory. The match off the fucking meter. Ref bump, and I was like, oh no. I was in my head like I saw the red bump. I face palmed. I'm like, and then peek my eye out like, and then hit him with the Styles Clash, and I'm just sitting up here like, why? Again, beat John Cena clean at SummerSlam. Beat Dean Ambrose with a low blow at Backlash. I won't even waste your time or mine trying to make sense of it. No. Won't do it. Won't do it at all. Won't do it. No. AJ Styles is the champ. I'm proud of him. But it just don't make sense to me. Is that I'm ecstatic as fuck that my boy AJ Styles has won the championship that allegedly that they hype up as the one championship he ain't won. AJ did it. But from a person who was reviewing this and trying to figure out where we go from here, I'm sitting up here racking my brain. Because Dean Ambrose gonna get his rematch. But ain't no way he win in a rematch. And then, but what do you do with Dean Ambrose after this? It's too many questions, no answer. So, I don't know. So, our current landscape is wild. KO got the Universal title. AJ got the World Heavyweight title. Sasha had the World Heavyweight Championship. Becky Lynch got the SmackDown title. It is indeed a new day. Yes, it is for the WWE, and it's going to be interesting to see what happened on SmackDown Live on Tuesday, to see what happened at Clash of Champions with the Raw titles and stuff, and we'll come back and do all of that. But this will be a head scratcher of the why of the ref bump. Is that AJ should have just beat him clean and just been done with it. But then this gives Dean a reason to sit up here and chase him, but he was going to chase him anyway because you get a return match. So, unless they really finna have a program between Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles go all the way to No Mercy, I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it. But, again, this may be one of those things that may not be meant for me to see, so what can you do? Overall, I had a great time watching the pay-per-view. I always do. And I'm glad that I've branched out to, sit down when pay-per-views are over to talk about this stuff, because I enjoy talking about this stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? And thank you to whoever listened. So, I appreciate it. But I'm going to stop the tape right here. I'm done. I have other stuff to do today, and I can't sit up here and spend all day thinking about wrestling because I got stuff that I got to do. So, that's been it for this doubleheader between Gokaja versus G.O.D kicking ass and WWE Backlash being a great pay-per-view. Been a great day so far, and it can only get better. So with that being said, I am of course the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. And this has been another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that, I will holler at you guys next time, man. Peace out.